In this video, we're covering how to spend your ATO business stimulus. Most small businesses have qualified for at least 10 grand in what they're calling the ATO cash flow boost. But for some reason, people are still pessimistic about their prospects and the economy at large. I believe this could be one of the greatest moments of opportunism in probably the last decade or two for businesses that think about this a little bit differently. So let's get into it. We all know the story. 2020, the year of the apocalypse, bushfires, World War III, and now coronavirus. I would say for every moment of volatility, there's an opportunity. Howard Marks, famed value investor, Warren Buffett as well, have often spoke about how a value-based approach in business is often underlined by opportunism. And the Australian government has just handed on a silver platter exactly that with the ATO cash flow boost. And I think for most businesses, it's a minimum of about 10 grand for businesses who do their BAS and their PAYG. Now, Australia is now the third most stimulated economy in the world per capita. We're third to the UK and Germany. I was chatting with a friend, Nick Hodges, recent guest on the Uncommon podcast, and we spoke about how this could create an amazing opportunity or opportune moment for businesses that can really see it.
People in Australia have a very pessimistic view about what's going to happen to the economy. They have a very pessimistic view about the future. And yet, if you ask them, and this was in that McKinsey report, that they then self-report that they don't have as pessimistic view about their personal sort of situation. The single biggest concern in the McKinsey study that people had about the impact of COVID-19.
Nick is the former head of innovation for the AFL, Foxtel, News Corp, and he now consults anyone who's really serious about strategy in large businesses. He gave me a report recently. It was really interesting. It's called McKinsey's The Curse of the Lucky Country. In Australia right now, it was covered that people are inherently pessimistic and believe that their individual situation will be fine, but the country won't, which doesn't really add up. If you're fine, but the country won't be, and everyone believes that, wouldn't the country be fine in the long run as well? And so he's thinking and his thought process, this is probably one of the greatest moments for a bit of arbitrage, identifying opportunity between the reality of the situation and people's perception or beliefs at the point in time. And now, yes, the numbers in hospitality, tourism, hotels, and the arts are horrendous. There's just no way that you can deny that. And I think watching Martin North's from DFA, his live show the other night, we saw that. The numbers across those industries are absolutely mind-boggling in terms of both job losses and revenue loss.
Because basically in March it was 5.2, and as Roy Morgan says, it will be a little bit higher this time. But Roy Morgan calculates unemployment on a different basis.
But it's also likely that we could see a slingshot in the economy within the next 18 months. But even if there isn't, preparing is the only way you're going to get out of this slump. And blowing your load on marketing and overhead, in my opinion, if you can help it, is not the way to go about it. For a lot of small businesses, you've been given this 10K cash flow boost. And if you're lucky enough, you're still operating and you've got the JobKeeper from the government as well. So you can pay wages and your basic admin expenses and so forth. If you're not in hospitality, the arts or tourism, then you're competing across thinner margins and thinner revenue as a whole. And I know we are as a business and an agency as well. In the past 7 years, businesses, and particularly tech companies, have just focused on spending money on ad revenue. And I think, well, my opinion and the opinion of multiple investors who investigate this sort of stuff, is what makes what they call a multi-bagger company is investment in proprietary products or proprietary distribution. What does this mean? This could be, instead of blowing your load on a bunch of ads or marketing campaigns, pull some of that money back and you put it into product development, the community, referrals, content marketing, which is a huge thing or is becoming a huge thing for our business as well. And that in and of itself will bring down your acquisition costs over time. But here's what we're doing. We've got the 10 grand, government's given it to me on a platter. We'll be investing in product. So we've chosen vertical product integration, and that is investing down our supply chain so that we no longer have to use a variable cost and just invest in that once off to recoup costs, to invest more time in other things. In our case, we're basically buying a camera rig or a red camera rig. That 10 grand will go towards that. Instead of hiring a mix mash of cinematographers, we'll buy the rig, we'll hire part-time producers who can pick up the slack for things I've been doing in production, which means that we can reduce the production cost, we can increase time for creative projects like this, literally starting this YouTube channel. Now I actually have time to do that, and so I can get more involved in selling and strategy. This is going to allow us to cut more deals, more affordable video content, and I think it's a better way than probably just banking that money and paying for admin and general overhead costs. I know some people are probably thinking this is a nice little dopamine hit. I think it's really valuable for us in the long term as well, because it's going towards this little guinea pig, Uncommon, which then goes towards showing our customers the work that we do. So over time, our actual acquisition costs should go down as well. You're probably thinking, okay, who's an example of someone recently who's also done that other than just yourself, Jordan? Well, we had Ethan from July. He's a co-founder of probably Australia's fastest growing brands. It's a luggage company, and you can imagine travel is their business, and the standard response for them in an industry which is pretty much screwed would be to sit on your hands and do nothing. But in their case, they actually thought, okay, what can we do? We can invest in product, or we can invest in more marketing. And they actually decided that they would launch an adjacent product. It's not so much vertical integration, but it's a new product line itself in carry-all. So they've gone from just luggage and just travel to every day something that people need even during a coronavirus pandemic. So carry-all, totes, backpacks, handbags, and the like. For anyone thinking this is just some cashed up startup, they're funded by Strandbags, yes, I know all that, but in a startup, when you're this young and you're this big, that money in admin, advertising, and operational costs can be gone like that. Competition are going to catch up quicker or way quicker than you realize. And so by them doing that, investing in proprietary product and distribution, they've made, I think, a smarter decision that a lot of small businesses should be thinking about as well. Why launch this product now amidst a pandemic?
So the idea behind what we wanted to do with these bags is that it's the first step towards doing things outside of luggage. Now, in a product development business, when you're making physical products, you always have around 15 to 30 products in the development cycle at any one time, so that you're not reliant on production cycles if you want to launch from a marketing perspective. Right. So it means that you've got like the Mother's Day item ready a year before, so that you're ready to launch a marketing component when they need it at the right time. So we were already thinking about soft goods. We were already thinking about a million other things. And these bags have been in development. We've done a lot of the fabric testing. Like, these take ages. We've been thinking about bags since July last year. So the idea was that, well, instead of launching them when we thought we were going to launch them, which was probably more either for July 1st, being July because we're July, or at Christmas time. Yeah, it makes sense, right? We like to launch with a bang. We like to celebrate our month. So what we did was we just pulled that as soon as that started to happen in China. We predicted to a degree that there would be supply chain issues. And we sort of had, you can plan as much as you want. Sometimes that don't happen. We guessed that there would be an impact on travel.
Yeah.
So we thought that we should be pulling these bags from the paper into production as soon as possible, which we did. We got them only a month ago, I believe.
Wow.
And in that time, we doubled down on our. I mean, we did a absolutely beautiful campaign to launch these bags in record time, I think. And we were just so excited to be able to jump into a new category.
To summarize, take advantage of this moment. There's an amazing opportunity for you to arbitrage what is going on with people's mindsets and what is the reality on the ground. It's not going to be over in the next 3 to 6 months. We know that. But 12 to 18 months from now, you could be reaping the rewards for being opportunistic at a time that people are basically scared. If you can help it, don't put the money into daily cash flow. Think about a content series you could start for the year. Think about a new machine or a new staff member that you could hire to be doing things that previously can push you away from working in the business to on the business as well. Or maybe just consider building something for your community during one of probably the most trying times they've ever had. Particularly if you're a B2C company, you should be thinking about stuff like that. If you like this, subscribe, leave us a like. It'll show YouTube that you like this sort of content. If you want to learn how you can innovate your business with strategy or content, do reach out to us. It's Neural.com/services. If you like Nick and Nathan and those little clips and you want to learn more about their stories, check them out on Uncommon. That's Neural.com/uncommon. And you can follow me on Instagram. It's @jordan.michaelides. All the links will be in the description down below. But until next time, thanks for watching.